Non-renewable sources of energy. Non-renewable sources of energy are exhaustible because they lack the natural capacity of recycling themselves once they are used up. Examples of this include coal, natural gas, and uranium. Petroleum. The term petroleum refers to the gaseous and liquid hydrocarbons from animal and plant matter that were laid down, compressed, and turned into these forms within the sedimentary rocks. When petroleum is refined, a variety of products are obtained. These include petrol or gasoline, diesel, aviation fuel, bitumen, liquefied gas, asphalts, kerosene, and lubricants such as grease and lubricating oil. These products are used in various ways for various purposes. Industrial diesel is used in industries, in boilers and furnaces. Advantages of petroleum as a source of power. It can be transported over long distances using tankers and pipelines. It can be used to generate. Disadvantages of petroleum as a source of power. Crude oil is bulky and therefore difficult and expensive to transport. It is an inexhaustible source of energy. The cost of petroleum products is generally high and unaffordable to many. It is one of the major environmental pollutants that contribute to global warming. Exploration of oil is expensive, therefore unaffordable to many developing countries. Coal. Coal is a black or brown rock mainly made up of carbon that was formed millions of years ago from compression of plant matter. There are 4 types of coal according to composition, characteristics, and stages in development. These are anthracite, which is the hardest form of coal and gives a lot of heat. It has 95% carbon content. Bituminous coal is also known as black coal. This is hard and compact with a carbon content of between 40 and 80%. Lignite or brown coal. This has a brownish appearance and high moisture content of over 35%. Peat. This has a brownish fibrous surface and is in the early stages of coal formation. It produces low amounts of energy. Traditionally, coal has been used for cooking and heating in houses. Later, it played a very significant role as a major source of energy in the European Industrial Revolution in the 18th century. It was used to run machines by heating boilers which produced steam. This was common in steamships and steam locomotives. Advantages of coal as a source of energy. Coal has a high capacity of generating thermal electricity. Coal is the most suitable form of energy in the smelting of iron and production of steel. Disadvantages of coal as a source of energy. It gets exhausted and so cannot be renewed. It is bulky, hence difficult and expensive to transport. Some of the local types have a low energy output. Coal is black, dusty, and produces a lot of soot. It therefore leaves a lot of dirt and soot on those handling it, as well as in areas of storage and use. Mining of coal has led to environmental degradation. Natural gas. Natural gas is a type Natural gas. Natural gas is a type of gas that forms underground and forms on the upper layers of crude oil but may also occur on its own. It is composed of a mixture of hydrocarbons and non-hydrocarbon gases in small quantities. Advantages of natural gas. It is a clean source of energy. It is easy and safe to transport by pipelines. It is easy to use as one only needs a button or tap to turn it on and off. Disadvantages of natural gas. Gas is prone to accidents as it is highly flammable. It is an inexhaustible source of energy that cannot be replenished. It is expensive and therefore unaffordable to a majority of people. Uranium. This is a naturally occurring radioactive mineral. it is used to generate nuclear energy in a nuclear reactor through a process known as fission. Inside the reactor, heat is released and it is used to produce steam, which in turn is used to generate electricity. The use of uranium as a source of energy has some advantages. They include the following. The world's uranium deposits will provide a source of energy for a long time to come, as most of the reserves are still unexploited. It produces a high amount of energy. It is long-lasting and can generate power for a long time. However, there are some disadvantages associated with uranium and nuclear energy as outlined below. Installation of nuclear reactors is very expensive. The waste from the nuclear reactors is highly radioactive and difficult to dispose. Uranium is exhaustible. When accidents occur, they cause immense damage and loss of life. The table below should help you understand the difference between sources and types of energy. There are 3 major electric power projects in Kenya, namely hydroelectric power, geothermal power, and thermoelectric power. Generation of hydroelectric power in Kenya dates back 2 days before independence. The earliest stations were Mesco with 0.38 megawatts on River Maragua, Ndula with 2 megawatts on River Thika, and Sagana with 1.55 megawatts on River Sagana. At that time, there was low demand for electricity as there were only a few industries. After independence, the demand for electricity grew, leading to launch of the Seven Forks scheme, where 7 sites were identified down the River Tana. The first project to be completed was Kindaruma in 1968 to generate 40 megawatts. This was followed by Kamburu in 1974, producing 88 megawatts. Then Gitaru Station in 1978, producing 225 megawatts. Masinga Station, generating 40 megawatts, was completed in 1981, followed by Kiambere Station, which is generating 144 megawatts and was commissioned in 1988. Other hydroelectric power in Kenya, electric power projects in Uganda. The Owen Falls Dam was constructed over the Owen Falls in 1954 to form East Africa's largest storage dam. A power station called the Nalubale Power Station, formerly Owen Falls Power Station, was also built. The factors favoring development of hydroelectric power can be divided into 2 categories, namely physical factors and human factors. Physical factors include the following: presence of a large and constant volume of water. This is necessary in order to turn the turbines that are used in generation of hydroelectric power. A good head of water, falling water, and waterfalls. This is necessary to provide the force required to rotate the turbines. Presence of a deep and narrow valley or gorge. This minimizes the cost of constructing the dam. It also provides ample space for a large volume of water to accumulate. Presence of a hard basement rock. This helps in providing a strong foundation for the dam. Presence of impermeable rocks, especially on the riverbed. This reduces the rate of seepage of water, thus maintaining the water volume in the reservoir. The human factors include sparse population in the area. This reduces the cost of relocation of the people that are displaced by creation of the reservoir. Availability of market. Hydroelectric power is non-storable, and as such, the presence of industries provides ready market for the power generated. Adequate capital. This is meant to cover the heavy cost of installation, maintenance, and transmission of the power to the consumers. Generation of hydroelectric power encounters some challenges ranging from establishment of the plant generation to maintenance. These challenges include fluctuation of water levels. During the dry season, the volume of water in the rivers may be low, and this leads to a reduction in the capacity of the power station to generate sufficient electric power. Some stations may be shut down altogether. This was the case at Masinga Dam during the drought of 2009. Inadequate capital. The power projects require huge capital outlay for the development of hydroelectric power. This is generally unavailable among the developing countries and has to be borrowed. Siltation of reservoirs. This reduces the capacity of the reservoirs to hold the projected amounts of water. This leads to reduction in capacity of the reservoirs. The solution to this problem is regular dredging, which is expensive. Displacement of people. Construction of dams and creation of reservoirs takes up large tracts of land that were formerly occupied by settlements. People of the area are displaced, leading to social disintegration as people are separated within their communities. This school was translocated to give room for the construction of the Sondomiriu hydroelectric power project. Habitat for pests and dangerous animals. The reservoirs harbor pests such as mosquitoes and animals such as hippos and crocodiles, which are a danger to livestock and people living within the vicinity of these reservoirs. Hydroelectric power projects. The map of Africa provided shows Africa's major hydroelectric power projects. Find out their names and countries where each one is located. As earlier discussed, geothermal power refers to electric power generated from steam that issues naturally from underground. This steam is produced by superheated water from inside the earth. Water is superheated when it gets into contact with very hot rocks inside the earth. These rocks are hot due to volcanic activities inside the earth. These rocks occur in parts of the Rift Valley. Such areas can be identified by the presence of hot springs, steam jets, or geysers. The exploration of geothermal power in Kenya started as early as 1956. The first station at Phase 1 was set up at Olkaria in 1981, producing 45 megawatts. Phase 2 project became operational in 2004, generating 70 megawatts. There is a private company, Or Power, generating 12 megawatts. The Kenya Electricity Generating Company, KenGen, is currently working on Olkaria Phase 3. The various forms of energy have a lot of significant domestic use. Woods and charcoal are widely used in homes for cooking, lighting, and heating. The various forms of electric power are used in homes for the same purposes. However, this form of energy is used more by the middle and high-class societies. In addition to the uses mentioned already, electricity is also used for vacuum cleaning, running electronic components such as television, radio, computers, refrigerators, ironing, and air conditioning. Industries. Very many industries use thermal and electric power to run the machines. Energy is therefore very important in the manufacturing and processing industries. Even coal and wood are used in some industries, such as iron smelting and tea factories, respectively. Transport. A lot of energy is used in the transport sector. Petroleum products are widely used to run motor vehicles, trains, aircraft, and ships. In industrialized countries, there are trains that use electricity. Cars that use solar power are being developed. However, continued use of petroleum products, especially those that give off smoke, is harmful to the environment. Agriculture. Petroleum fuel is widely used in farm machinery, thus making mechanization of farming possible. It is used in tractors and combined harvesters. Electricity is used for lighting, heating, and milking of cows in the dairy industry. Water supply. Wind energy is used to run windmills, which in turn pump water from underground to the surface. Diesel and petrol or gasoline, as well as electricity, are also used to drive water pumps. Medical purposes. In hospitals and other medical facilities, electricity is used to run or operate machines such as X-rays, dialysis machines, and refrigerators for preserving specimens. The term energy crisis refers to a situation whereby the demand for oil is higher than the amount that is being supplied, leading to high oil prices. Causes of energy crisis. The following circumstances have over time triggered energy crises in the world. Escalation of world oil prices triggered by a sharp rise in demand. Uncertainties in the world oil market caused by wars and political instability. Control of huge world oil reserves by a few countries who sometimes hoard the product, causing artificial shortage. Rapid depletion of reserves, thus lowering the supply. Unequal distribution pattern of crude oil in the world. What is the impact of the energy crisis in the world? An increase in oil prices leads to negative effects on the economies of oil importing countries. The effects include increase in transportation costs, increase in prices of commodities, reduction in government revenue, high cost of agricultural inputs, and closing of industries. Increase in transportation costs. This causes inflation tendencies, which lowers the people's purchasing power, thus lowering their standards of living. Increase in prices of commodities. This is caused by increased cost of production and transportation of goods as a result of high cost of oil. This too lowers the living standards of the people. Reduction in government revenue. This is caused by the negative balance of trade, as much of the country's foreign exchange is used for importation of oil. This lowers the economy. High cost of agricultural inputs. A rise in cost of oil affects the agricultural sector when inputs including diesel used in tractors become costly. This leads to lower agricultural output when farmers cannot afford the cost of production. In turn, there is food shortage which leads to famine. Closing of industries. Industries that use petroleum byproducts as raw materials end up closing when these raw materials are no longer available. The workers in these industries are also laid off, leading to unemployment. The energy crisis can, however, impact positively in the following ways. The crisis motivates scientists to research into finding alternative sources of energy. In turn, countries invest in alternative sources. Management of energy refers to the effective use and planning of the available energy resources. On the other hand, conservation of energy refers to the efficient uses of energy resources to minimize wastage and depletion. Some of the measures taken in the management of energy include control of the importation of vehicles with high engine capacity to lower oil imports, and encouraging the use of public service vehicles instead of private vehicles to lower fuel consumption. Creating public awareness on energy saving measures to reduce wastage through public forums, media advertisements and programs, and general education in schools and colleges. Planning and construction of wider roads to ease traffic congestion as much fuel is lost in the traffic jams. The Kenyan government has also taken several measures to conserve energy, including the following: encouraging people to use alternative sources of energy, for example, sun, wind, and biogas; encouraging afforestation, reforestation, and agroforestry programs to ensure sufficient supply of wood fuel in the market; encouraging people to use energy-saving stoves or jikos for domestic purposes and for institutions. Emphasis is being laid on management of existing forests by banning logging, training foresters, evicting squatters, and fencing forests, among others.